Okay, I'm Sibyl Canaan. I'm the director at the Field Library here. I've been here about 19 or 20 years. And we're in the local history room of the Field Library. We're in our archives. This is an extraordinary archives. We have got a level of local history here that's unsurpassed and non-existent in most other public libraries in this county. We serve the population of the city of Peekskill and town of Cortland. We get a huge amount of genealogical requests, local history requests that we fill. We have a full-time reference librarian here in charge of the archives. My relationship with the Lincoln Depot Foundation Board is such that I was asked to be on it when it was begun, and I have served on it for the past several years, helping it getting it up and running. I have been on the Lincoln Society board for a number of years, since 1993. And I was in the room at Dr. Bob Hales's house when Fran Gibbs, who was then city mayor, came to meet with the Lincoln Society board, and she brought with her John Kern, our city historian, who presented a proposal about saving the depot building, which at that point was a storage facility. And since that point in time, we have made slow but steady progress. And it's been very rewarding to see the advancements that we've made in saving a historic structure. The building is extraordinary, and right now you would not recognize it compared to what it once was. It's a beautiful building, and we are looking forward to having a lot of educational programs there, a new visitor center to welcome our guests into Peekskill. It will be an engine for an economic development in downtown Peekskill. And certainly it will be promoting the educational aspects of what a museum in the future can look like. It will have multimedia for kids who are used to a different kind of level of learning experience. It will have tactile, equipment with it to show the progress that Peekskill has made in our history, as well as the relationship that Peekskill has with President Abraham Lincoln. It is unusual that Peekskill has this relationship. It is very unique, and it is something to be very proud of. Certainly promoting that relationship is something that we're looking forward to doing. Peekskill has always impressed me with having this extraordinary history from colonial times on, and we have had a wonderful history of documenting that past. We have always had a city historian who's been actively engaged in the writing and the dissemination of the knowledge about who and what Peekskill has been. We are now in the local history archives, which I am very, very proud of. We've put a lot of effort into this room, and it has been a major resource for people. Our archives is extensive. We have several thousand documents in here. We have a map collection that is housed well, and on several of these maps there is the location of the depot building. We do a lot of verification with the maps and with other resources we have, and it's always a pleasure to engage on these kinds of quests. What did it look like when? Who lived in your house in 1910? Grandfathers' names, that kind of thing. But the maps are an extraordinary resource, and there are several that we have. And we have, behind Tony is a map that we had restored that's very valuable. Very proud of our map collection. Hopefully we'll be scanning it. Back to the depot. The depot, we have on maps that the depot, when the train originally ended in Peekskill, and the round table is under the earth in front of that depot, and there's a rail spur. You can still see parts of it there. The maps were interesting to see in terms of identifying at what point in time that structure existed on the land. So we are able to date the building to some extent. We also keep things in the local history archives that are, planned, so that we have been able to follow the progression of the building from the beginning of the proposal that Fran and John Curran presented to us to right up today. There has been a lot of effort to make the building what it is, and we are looking forward to hosting on a daily basis educational programs for our kids and others in the area. So certainly it will be an economic engine for the city. Well, Peekskill has a very rich cultural history, and that's part of the library's mission, is to promote the history of our area. We have always seen the library mission to educate our populace, and particularly the new people who've come into Peekskill, of which there have been a lot. And we also have a new immigrant community also that should be aware of the background of who and what Peekskill has been. We are looking to make the depot a natural partner in promoting the cultural heritage of our city. The institution of the depot will be joining the other local institutions of the area. The City Museum, of which the library used to be a main part. The Peekskill Museum and the Field Library used to be one and the same until we moved into this building here in the early 70s, late 60s. The Peekskill Museum was a part of the Field Library. So certainly the museum has always been our natural partner in whatever we do. One of the reasons that we have this archives here is because of the Peekskill Museum. As a partner, the museum, the Lincoln Society, other local historical societies, Van Cortlandt Historical Society, I think there are a lot of natural partners who will be engaged in the process of talking about our local area history. We have West Point a couple miles away. Our area is a natural focal point to bring different organizations together to be promoting the cultural history of our area. Certainly we could have seminars. We would look to do seminars with Barris College, with West Point, with other historical societies in our area. So the depot could really focus on reaching out to these other agencies, these other community partners, to actively promote what it is this area represents. Certainly Fort Hill was a major, our area was just extraordinary in terms of the rich Revolutionary War history that we have. Proceeding into the mid part of the 19th century, the 1850s, Peekskill was a hub for huge amounts of industry. Our stoveworks, Fleischmann's later, much later, the Crayola factory that started here, the Binney Company, started here as a charcoal manufacturing company years ago. We have all of this rich history in this room and other people in the area who know of it. So the Underground Railroad is certainly a very important key part of our history that we want to explore in the depot. So there's a lot of interesting themes that can be addressed at the Depot Museum. And we look to reach out to the other players in the community to help us promote the depot, to get involved in the type of subject matter that we present to the public. I think that the vision for the museum is going to be one of ongoing thematic displays, much like the museum like our city museum does now, and just taking it another step further. So certainly there are a lot of natural partners that we're going to be working with. It gives me great pride to say that the Field Library is one of the oldest public libraries in the county. We were chartered to serve the city of Peekskill in 1887. And we are celebrating our 125th anniversary this year in 2012. And we will have a lot of events throughout the year. We have a very rich history in this library. It is a distinguished library. Our archives represent that level of support that the citizens of Peekskill have provided to us. We are very proud of these archives. And we're looking that the depot become that type of distinguished institution itself. that it become a natural resource for our tourists, for our local people to go and visit, for our school children to learn from, and that it create its own identity, its own tradition, and become a living member, just like the Field Library is, of its community. Certainly it will become that over time, and through the contributions of the acquisitions that we will be receiving and providing as displays, it will become its own organization and a full-blooded member of the city of Peekskill. It's going to be a very creative endeavor. We have a lot of good people on the board who've been working for several years. We started this process in the very early 90s, 93 or 94, and so it has taken on a life of its own, and we are looking to continue that life certainly into the future. The significance of this room is where it can provide original research for the depot. We're a backup team here for people who come to Peekskill, get excited about what they see at the depot, and want to go further with documentation or map work. We have an extraordinary map collection. It's very valuable, it's very unique, and it's housed in these drawers, and we constantly are using them, and we love maps. We absolutely adore maps. They are housed in acid-free, so as I say, we use them for documenting Peekskill's past. They are unique, original, and can be used to provide original documentation on what Peekskill looked like when. We have not yet begun to scan them. That's a future project. We have a very large scanner we just purchased, big flatbed scanner, and we are looking to provide a map like this online so that people anywhere in the world can see what Peekskill looked like in 1774. This map, 20 years ago, I found rolled up, covered in dust, Scotch taped together, and I had an archivist deacidify it and restore it for us. And it cost a little bit of money to do it, but now we have a map that is framed, hung, preserved well behind correct glass, correct matting. And we refer to a map like this because you can show Peekskill's history from the early 1700s forward to a map like this that was done in the 60s that shows you an overview of Peekskill. So teaching Peekskill's history through its map collection is a very effective way of showing the growth, the economic development of Peekskill, the street scenes of Peekskill, how Peekskill has really got this extraordinary history. It has been written about. As you know, we have a famous American author, T.C. Boyle, T. Corrigan Boyle, who was born and raised in Peekskill, who has written a book called World's End, one of my favorite books, about Peekskill in different time frames. The map collection is just a beautiful collection, and I adore it. We also have genealogical requests coming in from across the world, and we have files of birth and death announcements of people housed in these drawers. Now this is also all online. In the old days, people used to, our librarians used to clip the original death notice, obituary notice of people. This has all been put online. And people now can search it on the library website, peekskill.org, and request that the obituary be sent to them. And that is pretty seamless electronically at this point. We have a marriage index. We have a photo collection that is extraordinary. Again, a lovely photo collection of the Peekskill Evening Star. So we do a lot of research and a lot of promotion with our photograph collection. We have subject files, again, that are general files that deal with topics, say the artist, the new artist in town. We've been tracking that for a number of years, the artist development of the downtown. Famous personages of Peekskill. We have subject files on everyone who has come out of Peekskill and succeeded. As John Teston mentioned in his talk, Chauncey Depew was a major figure in Peekskill, and we're very proud to have a really good file on Chauncey. We collect, I still collect. I was able to buy, with Tony's help, we have an original plow from the last remaining Peekskill Plowworks in Peekskill. Plowworks company that moved out of Peekskill in the early 1900s. They moved down to Newark, and the entire iron collection from that company wound up in the Newark Museum. They deaccessioned various pieces of the collection off, and Tony called me up and he said that there was a plow for sale on eBay. Will we be interested in buying it? And I said, sure. And so now the Depot Museum will have an artifact that is very rare. And certainly the museum has ironworks. They have a couple plows. But this is an intact plow where a single man would have guided this plow through his farm. It is stamped, the wood is intact. It is a beautiful artifact, and it's going to be housed at the Peekskill Museum. The maps we have, I mentioned, are lovely. We do collect. We have a postcard collection online that we've got. We made a video of it, a CD-ROM. It's available for purchase. The whole idea of promoting Peekskill is a fun thing to do. Not many libraries get a chance to do it. So in terms of the Depot, we look to be a natural partner for providing them with original research if they do projects. Also loaning out our artifacts, as Brian is loaning out some of his. We are looking to extend the range of opportunity for a tourist or a local person coming in, and identifying in the various institutions that Peekskill has had and will continue to have, such as the Depot, be a partner with them in the promoting of our local history. Not enough can be done about that. It's something that we look to do in the future extensively with the Depot, and certainly the material that we have an entire book collection in the back. We're very proud to house this resource, to have these materials available. It's a unique opportunity for a public library, and we do it religiously and happily, and anything we can do to promote Peekskill's history in a very positive way, we look to do. So the Depot is a natural extension, natural partner for us to be involved in the dissemination of the information on Peekskill.